Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, we
My
back.
boy back, man. We back, we back. Welcome to the Amateur's Edge. This is your host, Jerrian Sanders and Cleo Lemon. We were on a little hiatus last week. A.D was too, man, but we all back in effect, man. How everybody feeling?
I'm good, man. What's up with A.D.? A.D., you good, man?
You better?
Okay, he came back. He look like he got more gray hair this week. Maybe
Good
just
deal,
me.
good deal. So Cleo and I actually were participating in a camp last week with the NFL Alumni Association.
Oh, don't leave out Coach Ingram.
Coach Ingram too. That's a special
Okay,
entry level, man.
Okay,
I don't want
I got
you ruining the surprise, Cleo.
I got
Wait a
you.
minute,
I
goodness.
got you. I'm
But
just
anyway,
saying.
we had a great time. It was a great community event. We had hundreds of kids out there participating for a football/cheer clinic. Great times out there. What you think, Cleo?
It was awesome, man. It was just a blessing to be able to give back to the community and really just tap in, to be able to see the smiles on the kids' faces, see them running around, having some fun.
Right.
Man, you know what? I had the pleasure of doing a drill with Coach's son.
Really?
Hey, we got after it.
Yeah.
We got
Okay.
after it. It was fun.
Good deal, good deal. And so today's show is about the transition, and we always talk about the transition and how hard it is for athletes to transition from sports into everyday life. And we have two special guests today from a special nonprofit organization called MVP. We have Chris Brown, who's a retired vet, who's a part of the organization, as well as Coach Jerald Ingram, who was a two-time Super Bowl winner and used to be the running backs coach for the Giants and the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we're going to talk to them a little bit about the program and the organization in the next segment. So really, really happy to have those guys here today. How y'all doing today, guys?
Good, man. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's a great day and a blessing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But we're going to get a little bit into sports and what's going on. Last night, the Mavs saved their season with the score of 122 points to 84 against the Celtics. I mean, them boys were firing on all cylinders. Did you watch the game last night, Cleo?
The game was, I kind of felt like Luka finally showed up and took over.
Finally?
Finally, because you got to think the Luka that was in the other games, the first three games, he was complaining. He was
He
crying.
always complains, though. He always
Yeah,
complains.
but he had gotten out of that for the playoffs, right? And then he reverted back to his natural regular season state of complaining, not playing defense because, they were cooking him.
He never has ever played
They were
defense.
cooking him, okay? And then last night, he played a little bit more defense.
Right.
He didn't complain to the refs, and then you see the result. So
Right.
we might have a series,
I don't know about that. What you think, fellas? Did you get a chance to watch it, Chris?
I think I think Luka was playing defense a little bit because everybody was talking bad about him.
Right.
That's why he want to step it up a little more. He want to get put in that James Harden.
He already in that category.
Well, he put himself in that situation because he kept talking about himself and talking about how he approaches things and this and that. And it's like, well, hey, my back's against the wall. I can't have any more excuses because he been giving out excuses.
There
Right.
you go.
I mean, if you're supposed to be the man all the time.
Right.
There
And
you
then
go,
all of a sudden
Coach.
they were on every cylinder was firing last night to the point where I'm like, where y'all been?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Now, I don't really see Tom Brady in this act that they going to try and win out now. I don't know.
Man,
My son's trying to help on that this morning. He's 100%,
So
Dallas trying to get this done. He thinks,
Nah.
he thinks the
Ain't gonna
coaching
happen.
is better right now.
all right, so
For this head coach to get that
So
done.
this is where I always have this debate with basketball players and football players, right? For some reason, I don't know why, but with basketball, you see the stats, right?
Mm-hmm.
When a team is down 3-1 or 3-0, no one has ever made a comeback. Ever. Why is that? Why is that? It should be, you should be in a mindset to where if you win that first game, it's not over. Like, I should have an opportunity to come back and win a series in the NBA. They don't do that. They check out. They just say, we can't do it. Football, it's a totally different mindset.
But you never play a series in football, though. So
I know,
it's
but
not the same.
that's what I'm saying.
I think the training is a lot different.
The mindset.
The mindset, I think.
You got to win every rep. Yeah.
Every rep. I think, the things that Michael Jordan talks about, the difference between the
That's a
past
football
and today,
mindset.
it was a tougher mindset back then.
Right.
They trained. You know, Michael always said, hey, we're not waiting to the series to start to all of a sudden be great players.
There you go.
You know, that mindset was in the summertime, you
Right.
know, in the springtime, summertime, to the point where now all of a sudden we're treating the whole year like it's the final game.
Right.
These kids nowadays, they treat it like, hey, we get in the city, hey, no, we're going to step it up. But we'll take Tuesday off. We'll take this day off to try and survive the season.
Yeah, we down 3-0.
Yeah.
We can't come back.
Right.
Why you can't come back? Why Dallas
They
can't
built
win?
that way.
Why can they win 4 games
You
in a row?
heard, Coach, they not built that way, though.
That's my point. Like, why basketball players can put themselves in a position like, look, we won this one. Let's get it done. But history says it's over.
I think it's going to happen in our lifetime. I think we're going to see that at some point. I don't think the Mavs are built for that, though. Like, as great of a player as Kyrie Irving is, he's not a leader, right?
He is a leader. They were just saying he was the best leader. Yeah.
I think he's really matured.
Yeah.
But I think it's, you know, the consistency is not
Right.
there. I expected him to be a little more consistent in the last couple games. He really kind of shocked me.
Right.
To be honest, same thing with Luka. I just, you know, what happened to it? You know, I can't feel like I'm counting on it all the time.
They look like they out of gas.
They sound like they say all the right things.
Right.
I'm not seeing it.
But why does it have to be over? That's my question.
I'm not saying it's over. There's always a possibility. They got to take it one game at a time.
Absolutely.
They literally got to take it one game at a time, and every
the
possession matters.
NFL football mindset. We got to win this game because it's that important.
You could have that mindset, and it takes a lot of plays in the NBA to win a game.
Absolutely.
Onesies, twosies plays in the NFL, you
Yes.
you make 2 big plays, that could be it.
Right.
You ain't coming back.
But have that same mindset in the NBA. Like, the first
they
quarter
think-
matters like the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they think the 3-point game
Yeah.
changes everything.
It's going to get us back
You're
in
the
the
hot
game.
now. You saw last night. It's like, you know what? It's almost like the coach said, you know what? We're going to take as many 3-point shots, and we're going to see if we hot or not.
Yeah, it's sick. We got to wrap it up, fellas. We got to pay some bills. This segment was brought to you by Premier Physical Therapy. Your wellness journey begins at Premier Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, the gold standard in orthopedic and sports rehab for adults and adolescents alike. Dial 904-996-6922 or visit PremierPTJax.com today for the Premier experience. You're listening to The Amateur's Edge on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Spend lunchtime with the ladies.
Hey, where's your sense of adventure?
They don't cook, but they serve up spicy sports talk.
Sure, it's on the menu.
Helmets and heels.
That is a meal.
Switched on by First Coast Lighting and Bands on 1010XL.
Imagine waking up this time next week and being 100% debt-free from credit cards, car loans, and personal loans. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit can make it happen. Homeowners are turning their home equity into cash almost instantly. With Loan Pronto's AI-based system, you can get approval in about 10 minutes with almost no documentation, no appraisal, and no hassle. You can get hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your home. Use that money to pay off all your other loans. The average homeowner saves over $850 a month doing this. Listen, your home value's way up. You can use that to wipe out all those credit cards. Get some money for a home improvement. Literally hundreds of thousands are at your fingertips, and approval is just minutes away. So call now, 904-999-1508, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, equal housing lender.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision, an equal opportunity employer.
Your wellness journey begins at Premier Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation, the gold standard in orthopedic and sports rehab for adults and adolescents alike. Dial 904-996-6922 or visit PremierPTJax.com today. Experience the Premier difference and take your first step towards a healthier, stronger you. Premier Physical Therapy, where Jacksonville comes to heal. PremierPTJax.com.
Did you know DuckDuck is the area's go-to plumber? A 5-star Google-rated company, DuckDuck can take care of all of your plumbing repairs and upgrades. Need to switch from septic over to city sewer? Call the Duck. How about water heater repairs and replacement? You're just a duck away, or call away, for DuckDuck Plumbing and Septic Services.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Catch the Jacksonville Jaguars every day.
Jaguars Today from the Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute studios.
With Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony talking teal every weekday from 10 to noon.
Jaguars Today
on 1010XL.
I'm Justin Norndorf, creator of DVS, a medically backed pitching development program designed to develop young throwers' arms safely. We are excited to be launching our Florida Development Center at B3 Better in Jacksonville. To celebrate DVS, we are offering a free virtual coaches clinic and also giving away 20 free team DVS and athletic assessments at B3 Better. To register for the clinic and your team's chance to win, go to b3better.com/DVS and secure your spot today.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, the amateur's edge. Brought to you by B3 Better on 1010XL.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Amateur's Edge. This is your host, Jerrian Sanders. We got my guy, Cleo Lemon. We got Coach Jerald Ingram and the Chris Brown.
Run it.
Is your man on the floor? You got the mic, baby.
Jokes and jokes.
Hey, non-stop up here.
It never stops. Good deal. So, here on the Amateur's Edge, we often talk about, that transition from playing ball and figuring out what you're going to do with your life after that. And it happens on many levels, whether it's, making it to the professional level and having millions of dollars and still trying to find your identity in the world, whether it stops in high school, college. It's always a tough transition for these young men and women when it's time to shift gears. And we only talk about it from a sports perspective, right? This happens from a military perspective as well, trying to figure out who am I outside those lines. And it's very important for these guys to have support groups and know that there are people for them to talk to. And with that, we have the guys from MVP organization. MVP is a nonprofit organization that addresses the challenges to combat veterans and former athletes that face that transitional period and are trying to figure out what's next. MVP empowers veterans and former professional athletes by connecting them after the uniforms completely come off and provide them with a new team to assist with transition, promote personal development, and show them that they're never alone. So, again, with that, I'd like to welcome Chris Brown. Chris, what got you involved in the program? And can you tell us a little bit more about MVP with your experience?
Sure. I actually kind of stumbled on MVP. One of my buddies, he founded Sierra Delta. It's a working dogs connecting with service members. And he's like, hey, man, come out to this event. We're at the Super Bowl week, and we're hanging out. And he's like, come out to this event. And I go out there. It's kind of cold, right? So I got my J's on. I got like a little tracksuit on. And they're like, hey, we're doing a workout today. I'm like, what do you mean workout? Like, I thought we were just coming out to hang out. You said there's going to be some players
So I
there,
can't get
some
my
veterans.
J's dirty. Yeah, I can't get my J's dirty. What you mean?
But, man, I'm going to work out in a tracksuit. And then we're in a gym, and the gym's hot. Like, oh, man, this ain't going to work. So we start working out, and the guy next to me, he's a Green Beret. So we talk about his service and whatnot. And then come to find out after the workout, they're like, hey, we want to thank our founder. Come out here and talk to us, Nate. And it was Nate Boyer. And he was the Green Beret that was standing next to me. I didn't know the whole time that he was the founder of MVP and that he was the one that I really needed to connect with to try to bring it to Jacksonville. So MVP started in 2015. Like I said, Nate Boyer and Jay Glazer founded our nonprofit. It's kind of eclectic because Nate was a Green Beret, and he went back to school and used his GI Bill, went to University of Texas, and then he got on the team with the Seattle Seahawks. And so he comes from both sides of it. So he was talking to one of his teammates in the Green Beret, another special operator, and he was talking to him in one room, and Jay Glazer was talking to an athlete in the other room. And it kind of clicked for Jay. He was like, man, like, why don't we just bring these two groups together? You know, in the military, it's all about, like, you know, I do my job, yes, but I want to help everybody else. If we, you know, we have a mission.
Right.
If everybody does their job and we can complete that mission, hopefully we take as, you know, least casualties as we can. And it's kind of the same way in the NFL. If you don't do your job, like, you might not win that game. So your mission's a little bit different, but it's a lot the same.
Right.
So with the mental health aspect of it, when you come out of the military, it's a little rough. When you know, your whole adult life, that's all you really know. You know, I was 27 years in the Navy. I was a doc. So my job was also to take care of everybody, their well-being and health and wellness and whatnot. So I kind of gravitate, you know, helping everybody. When I come out of the military, you know, I'm going full speed. I was in Afghanistan. I get back. I go to a ship. I come back. I'm supposed to be on shore duty. The guy gets fired from his ship. So, like, hey, we need somebody. We got you. They have to have a dock to get underway.
Right.
So right back to another ship. Right back to another ship. So I'm going 1,000 miles an hour. I get done with that, and they're like, hey, we're building another ship, so you got some downtime, but we want you to go to Pascagoula, Mississippi. So I get out to Pascagoula. My family's not with me because my wife had just started a job. The kids were just getting in school. Like, I don't want to bring you there. We're only going to be there like a year. Well, it ended up turning into like 3 years. So I was like, man, you know, I'm in Pascagoula, Mississippi. Like we were talking earlier, like all I really do is go fish to kind of take care of my mental well-being. But when I get back to the room, I wasn't really doing anything. There was nothing to do. The ship was still being built, so I couldn't build my medical department. I couldn't get anything ready. So it took a toll, man. And my wife noticed that. Like, it was pretty hard.
So, Coach Ingram, you've been coaching for a numerous amount of years, and you've seen the ups and downs of athletes when it's time to you know, make that transition. My first question for you, though, is what got you involved and interested in being a part of this program?
Well, over the years of coaching, and actually it hit me hard when I was in New York. And we have a trainer there at the New York Giants, is well known, Ronnie Barnes. And we were having to talk about former players and different things that are going on. And I started taking notice because what happens is you know, in the NFL, nobody likes how your career ends. But you always forget, you know, you tend to forget about so many numbers of these kids that just go. And with Facebook and everything else, you get to see their families or what happened to this person, what happened to that person, and then you start watching the deterioration of certain people. And I started to take notice that a lot of former players are, you know, struggling with the transition. And it didn't matter if they had a lot of money or didn't have a lot of money, and it didn't matter that they were cum laude or whatever. I started seeing the struggle and then talking to their wives and so forth, the things that would happen. And, you know, Dave Durson, you know, with the suicide. I used to work his camp, you know, when I was a young coach. And we're similar in age as well, you know. And I was shocked by him and some of the other players and what they were going through. Yeah, and some, you know, the mental disorder and the hits and this and that, and some of it is not. I think a lot of it is just the transition of belonging and trying to figure out where you are. And I think coaches go through it, and I think I went through it because all my life I went from playing football in high school, you know, Pee Wee in high school, and, you know, and then University of Michigan, and then the doctors telling me I can't play football anymore, let alone play basketball. I had 5 knee surgeries on my knee at that time, total 7 now, and 2 on my other. You know, let alone all the other injuries, and the doctor telling you can't do this anymore. I think it was the only time in my life I ever cried other than the birth of my son, you know, that it's over. Now, what am I going to do now? My hopes, dreams, and all this is done, you know, before my senior year. So what am I going to do now? So I got to transition. Lloyd Carr takes me home, who's the head coach at one time at University of Michigan, but he was assistant coach, and he says, hey, you know, have you ever thought about getting into coaching and giving back? It says, you always seem like this guy that was caring and who always liked to figure things out. I always liked to give back. I was giving back in the community back then and doing camps and talking to young kids back then, and I enjoyed doing that. But he took me home, and he says, you know, we don't have a lot of African-American former players here trying to get into coaching. We send them off in the business world or doing this and doing that, but nobody talks to them about being a coach. And he was the first person. I've been screaming at him ever since then. But he got me into this coaching thing. So I've always wanted to give back some way. But get back to this, I was in New York and I watched. It really hit me home when I watched the smartest guy in the world that I thought. I used to have to give him brain teasers to get through camp because he's bored to death. Okay, just to stimulate his mind that now he's got to transition into the real world and he's got all this money, he's got all this fame, but he doesn't have anybody telling him, "Hey, your name," all the time. You know, and when you're a skilled guy, you know, linemen and other positions, quarterback, they say your name all the time. But you're a skilled guy, they call your name out all the time. You know, or you're a part of this. Well, you no longer have that. You don't have the team. You don't have the fellowship, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, you know, that gets you through the day. You know, do I miss the X's and O's? No, I love the X's and O's. I still love the X's and O's, watching great football and this and that. But the locker room, you miss the development of of watching a guy become great. Someone said who wasn't that good enough to belong now belongs. No matter if he becomes great or not, you miss that. You know, and now you're like, whatever happened to him? How's he doing?
Yeah.
And some of these guys don't even leave the room. And I asked the wife, and it says, he hasn't left the room in months. He's not the same person anymore. You know, people don't call anymore. Coaches go through that. Whenever coach gets fired, okay, you become like the plague. We got to talk about it. You know, like all of a sudden everybody wanted a ticket to the game and this and that and so forth. Now all of a sudden you can't get a call back. You're no longer important.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, wait a minute, how was this? You know, everybody loved me, but now they don't even recognize me. But that's life. You know, you've been doing a schedule all your life as you know, as a young athlete. They told you, parents told you where you had to go. Your high school coach told you where you had to go. Your college coach told you where you had to go. Coach Coughlin had to tell you where to go every second of the day because that's how meticulous he is to account for productivity in his world to live the life of a champion.
Yeah. Right.
Now all of a sudden you don't have that anymore. That was an adjustment for me. I was getting in my wife's way. Okay? It's her world and her house and her mind, and I'm like, where do I go now? I like to build things. I like to hunt, fish, and do all those things. So the transition was a little bit better for me, and I also was a minor in psychology.
Right.
But I also experienced it. I'm a military brat as well, and I have friends that were in the Marines, you know, who put all the military arms out over here on the ships and everything else. He did Iraq and everything, and I love hearing his stories. Now, as a coach, we try to get these kids to talk about don't being afraid and don't be afraid to die. That's military, but we say it. Right. We say all these terms like it's on the edge. Well, it is to a certain extent, but it's never on the edge of what you have done.
Right.
Okay? And that's what we miss. And that's what got me involved because it's so similar to teamwork and camaraderie and loyalty and trust and everything you depend on. I miss the depending on serving each other to win.
Right.
We were just talking about being built a certain way that, you know, if someone's not holding the line, you're not afraid to say. Okay, I'm counting on you, but you in the military, people die.
Yes, sir.
You know,
yes, sir.
Not being able to count on somebody.
Right.
You know, we try to win a game, but we also try to win in life every single day.
Sure.
Right.
So I think, you know, whatever we can do to give back, I want to give back. I love giving back, like we talked about working with these kids last week, alumni. But the Alumni Association has helped me to come to the fellowship that I've enjoyed, you know, being with Cleo and Nigel and some of these other people. They brought me out of the house. Yeah, I can fish. Yeah, I got enough money to do this and that. I don't have these brothers that are helping me get through the day. Just to see them knowing that I can relate to them.
Hey, well, look, man, I didn't know you were sitting around the house bored. I got some free work. We gonna talk, Coach. I'm about to put you to work, baby. Don't even worry about it.
I told you about a project.
Well, yeah, we gonna make it work.
All right.
Let's go pay some bills, though. This segment was brought to you by Premier Physical Therapy. Your wellness journey begins at Premier PT and Rehabilitation, the gold standard in orthopedic and sports rehab for adults and adolescents alike. Dial 904-996-6922 or visit premierptjacks.com today for the premier experience. You're listening to The Amateur's Edge on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Every team has an enforcer.
Whether you like it or not, I'm a hard hitter and I'm a straight shooter.
Tommy Mack is ours.
I say it like I see it.
Fridays on Jaguars Today, brought to you by Renewal by Anderson Windows and Doors on 1010XL. Now a U.S. Open update on 1010XL, brought to you by Vaughn Motor Group.
Westwood One Sports presents this special report on the 124th U.S. Open Golf Championship, sponsored by CDW. Make amazing happen. Ludvig Åberg of Sweden, making his U.S. Open debut, is alone in the lead at Pinehurst number 2. He's at 5 under. There are 3 players at -4, including former U.S. Open champion Bryson DeChambeau, Thomas Dietrich, and world number 9, Patrick Cantlay. Rory McIlroy, 3 under, talks about his plans for the weekend.
Just a little more thought, a little more consideration to everything that you're doing. You know, very conservative strategy off the tee. And because most of us are playing conservative off the tee with irons, you can sort of maybe aim down one side of the fairway or the other to try to give yourself some better angles to these pins.
Tony Finau and Matthew Pavon also at -3. With this report on the U.S. Open, I'm Whit Watson, Westwood One Sports.
All right, people, let's get this meeting started.
Where are the chairs?
Gone. Research shows standing meetings are quicker.
What research is that?
Topic 1. CDW helped us deploy Mac Supercharged by Apple Silicon for the way we work now. So how's their speed?
Fast.
Battery life?
Long.
Cyber threat protection?
Strong.
Ownership costs?
Low.
Great. This meeting is...
Adjourned. Wow, that was fast.
Yep, that's the research.
With Mac configured by CDW, a solution that works for everyone isn't just possible, it's powerful. Find out more at cdw.com/getmac.
That's the sound of steak searing in its juices on your new pellet grill. You heard that right. The Weber Searwood Pellet Grill can smoke low and slow at 180 degrees all the way to a high heat sear at 600. With the Weber Searwood, you can cook on the direct flame over the full grade sear zone. You'll hear the gasp of amazement from friends and family when you serve the food. Cooking with the Weber Searwood Pellet Grill just sounds delicious and tastes even better.
Are you looking for that perfect Father's Day gift? Look no further than Shooters this Thursday through Sunday, June 13th through the 16th. Shooters and Smith & Wesson are bringing you the largest Smith & Wesson sale of the year with the largest savings of the year. Click away with a Smith & Wesson M&P 1522, very affordable, just $429. Save $70. The most popular small frame defense revolver on the market, the Airweight 38 Special, for only $469. Save $70. The hottest selling concealed carry pistol, the Smith & Wesson Shield Plus 9mm for only $399. You save $150. Get unmatched value with the new Smith & Wesson SD9 2.0 handgun for a low $279. Save $80. Shooters and Smith & Wesson Father's Day sale, the largest sale of the year, June 13th through the 16th at Shooters, 5085 University Boulevard West. See the full ad at shootersjacks.com. Shootersjacks.com.
Come celebrate Father's Day this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Unlock your ultimate wedge play with Vokey SM10 wedges, made for lower flight, improved feel, and maximum spin. And from Bushnell, the new Tour V6 Series laser rangefinders provide you the most accurate distances in golf. Now $50 off. Shop with us for Father's Day in store or online. Edwin Watts Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Get there.
Unlock your true potential with the power of sports hypnosis, a power embraced by elite athletes worldwide. Experience the same techniques for peak performance that have propelled top professionals in the NFL, the NBA, MLB, and the PGA to new heights. So whether you're an aspiring athlete or a seasoned pro, HypnoFit tailors to all ages. Visit hypnofit.me today for more information to receive a free copy of AD's book, The Power of Sports Hypnosis. Step into greatness. Your journey to peak performance begins at hypnofit.me.
Cataracts are the leading cause of vision loss in the United States and blindness worldwide. Hicken here for Bowden Associates. June is Cataract Awareness Month. Cataracts are a condition that causes the eye's lens to become cloudy, which can block or change the way light passes through the eye. Fountain Eye is here to take care of you or someone you know who are experiencing faded colors, intensified brightness to light, or poor night vision. Call or visit BowdenEye.com to schedule your consultation. Bowden Eye and Associates, they're keeping the First Coast focused.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and B&B Fuel and Lubricants on 1010XL.
Tired of changing out bad sod year after year? Get it done right with Roundtree Sod. Big or small, they have it, and always supplied farm fresh. For a lush, legendary green lawn, call 7414-SOD for a free estimate. 7414-SOD.
Step into the world of B3 Better Sports, where every athlete is an emerging champion. Tailor-made training programs based on science, crafted for your sport, your position, your ambition. Train smarter, not harder. Just 2 to 3 times a week is all it takes to unlock your true potential. Join the legacy of top athletes from Jacks, transforming from aspiring to inspiring, on and off the field. B3 Better isn't just about sports. It's a launch pad for life successes. We're more than a program. We're a community. Rise above, excel, become the athlete you're destined to be with B3 Better Sports Performance.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville, it's the amateur's edge. Brought to you by B3 Better on 1010XL.
There you go. That boy Casey. Man, I missed you last week, Casey.
I missed you too, baby.
Listen, dude, I've been thinking hard about this too, man. I keep walking by the bulletin board back there, and they still don't have your baby picture up, man.
Look at here. So here's the story with that, okay? I sent it in.
I know.
I was the first one to send it in. Michelle here will attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
But it got so clouded in that email response.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, but I saw his baby
Yeah,
picture.
that's right.
Right.
He had a beard as a baby.
We're gonna start a campaign, man. Ugly babies matter campaign. Ugly babies matter. Casey.
Every time I walk past that too, I think of what movie is it where the girl goes, "You even cute in your baby picture."
Like 8 months old. He had a beard.
And we're back. Welcome back to the Amateur's Edge, guys. Cleo, man, tell us a little bit about your experience, man. You know, again, that transition's always tough, man, and you've experienced it from a player's perspective as well as from a coaching perspective. So,
it's tough. You know, talking to my brethren, I didn't have a traditional path to the league, so I was playing with house money. So
the whole time,
I had a smile on my face every time I walked into an NFL locker room. I was blessed, and really, I treasured every moment. And I lived in the moment, and I can remember it like it was yesterday. Now, let's talk about a first-round draft pick, second-round draft pick. You know, teams are investing a lot of time and money into you, and they want to make that work. So for those type of athletes who have probably been the top player coming out of high school, you know, your 5-star, and then they're blessed enough to have an amazing college career on a Power 5 level, probably playing a national championship game, win an A.D, those type of things. And then you get to that league, and then you become a household name.
Mm-hmm.
That's tough. That's tough to see that end, and to Coach's point, to have put in the time that you've put in since you were – Pop Warner, right?
Right,
You're
right.
8, 9, 10 years old, and you've been working at this dream your entire life, and just to come to an end, it's tough. And for me, I was already kind of like doing other things. I had started going back to school before I had stopped playing. I was preparing myself for the transition. So I kind of felt like now I can figure out what I want to do next in my life, and I had already started making plans.
Right.
But for those people who are doing, the chip and dip commercials, and they getting all type of income in all different type of ways, and then it stops, it's tough for them, right? It's tough. Now you have to humble yourself, first and foremost. You got to get out here and figure it out.
Right.
And what I've seen is those that, to Coach's point, that rely on a community of people, that transition happens a lot better. So if they tap into programs like the MVP program, that helps big time, right? Because now I can sit down and talk to Chris. I can sit down and talk to coach.
Right.
And we can have these conversations and just build a bond, and we can feel like we're in this thing together. Those that are out there trying to deal with it solo, that's where it kind of can get off track because you're trying to internalize everything. You're not being truthful. You're not being transparent. People don't really know what you're going through. So they kind of feel like, oh, he has it all together. But it's beating you up on the inside. And that's where sometimes the disconnect happens. And that's the beauty of this type of program, this MVP program. Because now I can sit down with a military veteran who has similar stories when it comes to transitioning, but to hear some of his amazing stories that I didn't have a chance to experience. You know, I got a friend, you know, that retired from the military 20-plus years, and we talk all the time. And he tells me some of the things he's been through. So I think that's where you can help yourself with the transition. Lean on your brother, right?
Right.
And that's what this program is about. And that's why these guys are here today, and that's why I do whatever I can to assist in any type of way.
Right, right. So, Chris, what all services does MVP offer?
So we have an in-house. I think the biggest part of it is what Cleo said, the peer-to-peer. Mm-hmm. And I was going to say when you were talking, people only show you the version that they want you to see. You have no idea what people have going on in their brain while they're sitting at home. And usually a lot of the times is when they're like not active and doing their thing. They're at their house by themselves or whatever, and they just get into those dark thoughts. We lost 17 guys in Afghanistan when I was in country. When we came home, we've lost 28 already to suicide because they don't want to reach out. And you see it a lot. Me and Coach were talking about it earlier in the football world as well. You're the number one pick, and you're doing your thing, and say you get injured or you just don't perform as good as you thought you would. Injuries happen a lot. Those are big guys running pretty fast. So, I'm 6'5" and 300 pounds. Like, I don't want to talk to anybody about my thing. I'm supposed to be the man of the house. Like, I don't want to show my vulnerable side. That's where things go sideways, and that's why we're here, and that's why, man, I can't tell you enough. We've had 3 functions already to try to get MVP Jacksonville kicked off. Coach and the Jacks alumni from the Jaguars have been amazing. So we started reaching out. We don't have a lot of pro teams here, so we started reaching out to like the Sharks and the Jumbo Shrimp and those guys as well, because same thing. They grinded, all the way to amateur, and they're trying to hope to get into the league, and then they don't make it. Those guys are just the same as us.
Right.
So MVP, we have an in-house mental health specialist. We have classes all the time. We have breathing techniques, anything to help you. But the problem is, I think, getting them to come out there. Mm-hmm. Saying I have a vulnerability and, hey, I might need some help. Or just the guys that come out that like, hey, I want to help my brother, so I'm going to come out. I don't have any issues. I just want to be out there to help. Mm-hmm. And they help somebody else. And then they might realize themselves, like, I might have an issue as well. So we're trying to kick off Jacksonville. It's coming pretty soon here. We got 8 other chapters around the country, Las Vegas, L.A., Phoenix, New York, Chicago. And we talk all the time. It's good because every year during the Super Bowl week, we usually go out there and everybody meets up. We have a little event and everybody gets to talking. I got a real good buddy, Amos. He's up in Chicago. He hit me up yesterday. He's like, hey, you ready for the interview? Like, can't wait to listen, whatnot. So just the camaraderie and getting people to come out there. Like, I think MVP Jacks is going to be pretty big. We got a lot of support from the NFL side of it. We got the veteran side of it. We got the help that's out there. So, come on out. We got an event. You talk about that. You talk about that. We got a really good gym that's around the corner that is hosting us.
We'll get to that.
B3 Better Sports Performance.
We'll get to that. Casey, you had a question?
Yeah, so I hear the military aspect of it, and I know that you guys probably don't know this about me. I'm prior law enforcement.
Oh,
and
nice.
Yeah, I was 5.5 years, and I tell you what, man, a lot of people forget about that aspect of society too. When you think about not just law enforcement, but firefighters, think about all those. You said you had 28 brothers that you lost to suicide. Probably all 28 were in an impact in a law enforcement officer or a firefighter or an EMT's life, because they had to arrive on the scene.
Yeah.
And as a law enforcement officer, one of the things that always pops up this time of year, is I went to a call with a 15-year-old who took his life. I got a 15-year-old now. And, around this time, I struggled because, that was a dad, that was a son. And now, looking at this, it's like there's so many things that law enforcement officers and EMTs, and I'm just curious, do you guys reach out to them? Is that a part of your program? And if not, maybe think about putting it in the circulation.
So this event is for a community workout. So most of the time, so for right now, MVP is for athletes and military. However, we do have community workouts. We have events that go on all the time that we can bring those. So anybody that wants to support the military or wants to support the any kind of pro athlete, athletic team, whatnot, they could come out as well. So this event is kind of for that, to show what everybody's about. But I'll get my cell phone number. Anybody could call me. Like I said, I had 28 years of medical experience. I would rather have the camaraderie piece of it than because for me, I came back. So like I said, I was a doc. I was the most forward you could get in saying in Afghanistan. We had 200 and something casualties or injuries, 200 and something injuries. 81 of those kids lost a limb, arm, leg, triple amputees, double amputees. Being there and the most forward, I saw every single one of them, and that was my homies. That was kids that I trained with. I say kids, young men, 18, 19 years old. They haven't started to live their life yet. They're fighting for whatever they got to fight for, the man that's next to them. I saw every single one of those. All 17 guys that passed away, I saw that. That was rough. I held that back. It changed me as a person. My wife saw it. It's like, man, you know what condition 1 is in a weapon? In the chamber, to the dome, ready to take my life. I don't want to do this anymore. It's too rough. And my wife, she was there, and she yelled the kids' names. And I was just like, man, what am I doing? I didn't really want to take my own life because of I don't know what it was. I don't want to kill myself, but I didn't want the struggle and the pain anymore. I was just ready to go. So when I found MVP, that's how MVP helped me. And there's so many stories like that, you have no idea. I'm a way better person now. Because when I first got back, they sent me I've been through medical school. They sent me to a 21, 22-year-old professional, quote unquote, that I could tell they're reading from their book. You're not talking to me as a person. You're just reading from your book. I don't want to talk to you about that. You have no idea what I've seen. So having the camaraderie and talking to the people that have been through what I've been through, or at least part of it, and same with the NFL. How are you going to talk? And you have no idea what I've been through, or the struggles I've been through. Oh, you're living lavishly. Yeah, I might be on the outside, but I'm struggling. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Well, tell us more about this event, Jerry.
So we're hosting an event at B3 Better June the 29th at 12:30. We're doing a community workout. So we're encouraging everybody to bring their whole families out. We're going to be going through a series of different challenging exercises, but we want to do it together as a group. And we're going to make it very challenging. We're going to be flipping tires, pushing sleds, using the battle ropes, so just an array of a lot of different fun activities, but just to encourage everybody to get out and be a part of this event. Again, it's going to be June the 29th at 12:30, so we're encouraging everyone to come out. You can go to the website to register. It's set up on the B3 Better website. And do you have the MVP website?
Yes, mergingveteransandplayers.org. There's on the top tab on the right, there's events, and you can look in there in the events for Jacksonville.
Right.
And the show in there.
And if people want to get involved in MVP, is that the best way to go to? Just go to the website?
Yeah, go to the website. There's contacts all in there. Like I said, if you're one of those big cities, that's fine. We have a virtual aspect as well. Right. You can connect through there. It's all on the website.
I was going to ask about the virtual part, because one of the things that you brought up, which stuck out in my head, is people are afraid to let people know what they're going through, and they don't want to be seen, right? So is there a virtual part where you can do some group setting?
There is. Right. Every Tuesday night, Dustin hosts those. You don't have to speak at all. You can listen whenever you want to. Just to come out there is what we want.
Right.
Whenever you feel like it's your time, you want to relate to anybody. That's why we go do the workouts together. Maybe you might hit it off and hey, I see you're from so and so. I'm from so and so. So it kind of helps bring them out there, and then maybe they want to be a little vulnerable and kind of ease their way into telling what's going on. Or some of the players, they just want to be there, and they might ease their way into telling what's going on. So, yeah.
So what if I don't have the time, right? I can't make it out to an event, but I just want to support you guys financially. Is there anything I can do to kind of help out?
There is. There's a link on the emergingveteransandplayers.org website. You can make donations if you feel so inclined. We would love to have that as well. Like I said, Jacksonville, that's what we're trying to do is raise funds to actually kick off and start this. Because normally in the other chapters that are thriving, they meet once a week. We meet in person once a week. From Jacksonville, we're going to try to start it once a month. If we have a lot of participation, we can move it to more. We can slim it down. Just depends on how many people we can get out. And, Jacksonville is huge. We got a ton of military here. We got about 18,000 sailors and Marines that are in the area. So we're open to anybody.
That's huge. That's huge. Coach, I had a question for you, too. Again, you've seen it over the years. If you can pinpoint maybe 2 or 3 things, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges that athletes face when it's time to make that transition? 2 or 3 things.
Well, I think is finding solutions. For some athletes, and not speaking to all of them, finding the right people to talk to.
Right.
Because we're so, our egos are so high that we don't trust everybody. We didn't trust everybody in the NFL. Just because we say we're together doesn't mean that we always trust each other in every situation, every facet, because we're regarded, like you said before, you're kind of afraid to think that you have a problem or maybe make you think you're less than.
Right. And then to piggyback off that, man, you are a top-notch athlete. You're an alpha male, and you're in a locker room with a bunch of other alpha males that you got to prove yourself every day. And a lot of times, guys don't want to be vulnerable. Yes. That's what you find. They don't want to show that weakness because in that locker room, if they can sniff out a little hint of weakness, that means I can get your spot, I can take your job.
Right.
So that bravado is real.
So it's hard to cut that off then is what y'all
It's
saying,
tough.
man. It's tough.
Yeah.
And you got to have some vulnerability to be able to get past that block.
Right. But you have to find the right people and the right people that communicate that you're not a threat to them, that they're comfortable with. But because that's another area that you do miss. Sometimes you miss your boys within your boys.
Right.
Because those are the guys you can break down and cry with.
Right.
And even though in the locker, there's some guys you just weren't going to do that with.
Right.
Okay? But there are some people you can break down. You have been, it's a 4-hour practice. They're trying to kill me. They're trying to cut me. And you got people, just like you got, hey, who's got your back?
We got your back.
We got your back. And you're looking for that, and you miss that. You don't know who's got your back anymore, trying to struggle through life. And you just want to have somebody to talk to.
Right.
And you bring some people together, but some people don't communicate. Some guys are still on that high ego, tough man, whatever. You know what I mean? It's hey, I'm in a different day, and some days are darker than others. Right. I don't really want to hear that right now. I want to have a solution to, how can I ease myself in here without being so vulnerable, that I can tell you where I'm at. I'm as bottom as it can be. Some of these guys are afraid to tell that they're an alcoholic. Yeah. Okay. I've seen players who became cliffhangers while they're playing because they saw a guy who run for 90 yards on a touchdown, and all of a sudden he's tripping out that it didn't happen to him on that play. And he's all of a sudden he's trying to play out of his game.
That's real.
And like, wait a minute, son. That was his play. Don't let that affect your mental state that you think you got to do something that you don't normally do. Mm-hmm. And that happens to guys. Yeah. Right. And it's a struggle, and all of a sudden they start to fall apart, and they didn't understand they were. And next thing you know, the coach is asking them for their playbook. And then they weren't fortunate enough that they had a coach on staff that actually told him and say, hey, you're failing at this. This is the reason why you're failing. Right. It's not that you're talent. You're letting your mind fail.
Yeah, I'd rather you call me at 3 a.m. to ask for help. That's what's good about MVP. Yeah. Call me at 3 a.m. and tell me you're having your darkest moment. Like, don't let some, like you said.
Don't take it out on your wife. Don't take it out on the dog.
Like, God forbid, you do something really bad and somebody else has to call me that you're not around anymore.
Good deal. Hey, well, guys, look, I appreciate you guys being on the show, man. I think programs like this are very necessary, and I even want to talk about it from a preventative standpoint as well. What can we do how do we stay ahead of the curve and let these guys know that you're more than just an athlete? So, but again, I want to thank you guys for coming out. This is it from the Amateur's Edge. You're listening to the Amateur's Edge on 1010 XL 92 on the other side.